Hello, this is Joylyn from Captain's Mix and Magic, and I'm here to share how I make a baby girl face. So, the fondant that you see here are already colored and conditioned. I mixed a fondant and kneaded in a bit of tylose until it's firm to the touch, yet still malleable and stretchable. So this is the skin tone where I just mixed a bit of brown and lemon yellow on fondant. So this is what I'll use for the head, the hand, and the feet. But for this video, I'm just going to show you how I make the head. All the other colors that you see there are parts of the figure that I'll be making. So the other one that I'm holding on my left hand is Ecru, or it's very off-white fondant. I just got a bit of the skin tone and mixed it with white fondant. So that one is a bit more softer. So all the other colors, I have the gray, the light pink, the purple, and the violet are all elements or colors that I'll be using for the figure. So I only need like about a handful. So conditioning the fondant, I'll just use my fingers to soften it and to shape it. It's best to have all of these colors handy and all of these colors ready. That way I don't have to touch any more gel color as I shape the fondant. So we'll get a piece of the skin tone to make the head. This is about 2 tablespoons, or maybe about a diameter of 1.5 inch once you roll it. So it's better for you to be able to roll it smoothly and eliminate the crease as you shape it. You have to have cornstarch ready in case the fondant gets too sticky. So I'll use my pinky finger to make an indentation on the upper half of the roll, and that's where we will mark the eyes and nose. There. So you already see a bit of the head shape, and then I use my thumb to make a dimple at the lower half, and that marks the lower part of the nose, the lips, and makes you form the cheekbone. So using both thumbs, you can shape the nose for the baby head, and you have to do it carefully. Pinch it bit by bit. There. You start seeing the cheeks. And if you want to have a sharper or nose with a higher bridge, just gently pinch it up. You can use fondant tools for this to make it finer, but this way I can show you how you can do it without the tools. There. So you smoothen it with your fingers. You have to handle it really lightly. Just a slight press actually makes an indentation on the head. So right now I am shaping the chin and the temples at the same time. So I'll have the part on the side. You can see that's where we can mark the ears, and right now I am gently shaping the chin and jawline. See, just a little bit of pressure, it already creates a dimple, so you have to be careful. There. Now it's smoother. This looks like you're massaging the head of the baby. There. So you see this part, the highest point or the cheek line, that's also the area where I will make an indentation for the ears. I usually align the ears with the highest point of the cheek. So these are the tools that we will use for shaping the baby girl head. That's the pointed cutter of fondant. There. Sometimes I use scalpel to make a finer cut, but for now I can use this one. This is the boning tool of fondant. I use it to make indentions for the eye sockets and areas where you can attach the neck. That one is a veining tool and the friller. The other end I can also use for indentions. This is a pointed or puncture tool. I use it to mark the ends of the lips. And this is a fine veiner. The green one is also a veiner, but it's a bit bigger. And then a thin paintbrush to brush water onto some parts so you can stick fondants together. So those are the tools. Now we will use the boning tool to make the eye sockets. You can press it sideways so you already have the eye shape. You have a corner, you have the corner of the eyes towards the temple. And usually I just flip the figure over and then you do the other side. That way I can see if it is of the same level or at least balanced in alignment. It's really hard for me to align the eyes. So like now, see, the other part seemed too far from the nose for me. So I'll adjust it using the tool. There. So I'm satisfied with the gap between the eye sockets. And now for the ears. And the other side. There. It's starting to look like a doll's face. So the thin paintbrush is dipped in water, and I'll brush the indentions that I made with water, and then I get a piece of the skin tone fondant and use those as the ears and attach it there. And just press it gently, shape it a bit with your fingertips. There. And then the other side, I flip the head over again. And then check if they are of the same level. And I think that's okay. Now we're ready for the other parts of the head. For the lips, we'll be using the finer veining tool for the lips. This time I'll put the nostrils first. So putting the nostril using the veining tool, it defines the nose better. See? And then gently press the ends to define the nose. And then smoothen it if it's gotten to have more definition, because we need the face to be soft, round, and well, it's a baby face, so we can't have it with wrinkles. There. See the profile? We have defined the nose and the ears. At this point, the fondant is really malleable, so any pressure, however light, it makes an indentation. It shapes the fondant you've just put in. So I'll use also the veining tool to mark the ends of the lips, and then connect those two. To put a smile on the face of the baby. And then I use the stem of the veining tool to define the lower lip and chin. You just really have to press bit by bit and then smoothen in between pressing. And as you make impressions and indentions, you have to make sure that the whole shape is round. Usually I take about like an hour or so to make just the head, because it's the most delicate part of the figure. So I'll use the frilling tool, the other end of the frilling tool, to make a slot for the neck and prepare. So this way, as it sets, it already has a slot for the neck. And because we've already made this part, we can stand the head up, lay it on the table like that. So we won't be worried that it'll roll all over the table. There. And now for the eyes, just fresh white fondant. Then brush the sockets with a bit of water, not too much, just a little bit. You have to dust it with a bit of cornstarch, since the white fondant is softer than the other pieces. You have to roll it with more cornstarch a bit so it won't stick to your fingers. And then once you're satisfied with the size of the white fondant, you can put it into the socket that you have prepared. There. The corner of the eyes that you have made an indentation of, it actually marks the end of the eyelash that you'll be putting later. So now for the other side. I put it upside down. And then gently press it and see right side up if it is of the same. So if the other eye is a bit big, you can slowly but surely reduce the quantity of fondant you put while it's still soft. There. Now for the black fondant. Make an indentation for the iris. Just a bit. And then we'll brush that with a bit of water also. Just a bit. Now it's ready to be attached with a small or a spot of black fondant. It really has to be really small. And then I'll place it in the eye using the puncture tool. There. And then press it in place. And do the same for the other eye. And there. Now we're ready for the eyebrows. Use the fine end of the tool to mark the eyebrows. So more or less you get the idea where you're going to put the brown fondant. I decided to use the darker shade of brown fondant for the hair. So I'll use this for the eyebrows and the eyelash and the hair. It has to be really soft because you'll be rolling it really thin, a really thin strip. So it's almost like you're putting makeup on. So there. So you get a bit of the brown fondant and then roll it between your fingers, a really fine tube or rope, and it really has to be small, as if you've just piped it through a very, very thin round tip. So we'll use that strip for the eyebrows and the eyelashes. I use a scalpel this time to make it finer, and a barbecue stick and wood pick for the support of the whole figure. Okay, so we'll just cut the size of the strip that we need and then re-roll to make it finer. You have to be really careful with this one because it has to be really small. It's delicate to handle, so I also use the tip of the scalpel to transfer the pieces that I've rolled and attach it to the head. So I pick it up with the end and then place it onto the head that we have moistened a bit with water. So as it is attached, then you can press it to the shape and to the impression that you have made with the other fondant tool. The impression you made cradles the fondant that you have attached, so it doesn't move or it doesn't go out of place. So there. And now we will do the eyelashes. If you have brushed a bit more of the water than you intended to, you can rub that surface with cornstarch and then smoothen it out again like what I just did. But this one has to be done immediately, as you have noticed. As soon as I noticed that there is excessive moisture on the face, I had to rub it. You have to wipe the excess water off first and then rub with the cornstarch so it'll get smoother. have the face with the eyes, the eyebrows, nose, and lips, ears. I'll have to correct the ears later because I ended up putting pressure on it and deforming it, so I'll be replacing it later before I attach the head to the body. So now I am doing the same procedure for the eyelashes. Using the blade, I can create the lashes, make small cuts to frill it. There. Sorry, the video isn't that really clear and the lighting isn't too bright, but I hope you get the idea that what I did here is when I attached the piece, the brown piece, I also sort of scored the piece to make this sort of thick lashes effect. So the excess fondant I just carefully cut and lift off there, and then the rest are like that, so she has thick lashes. So I'll do the same to the other side. There. So you see there is excess water there. I'll also lift that off. There. Now we have eyelashes, eyebrows, nose, lips on fleek. There, we have the face. So I'll be using this shade of purple for her bonnet. And she has to have a bonnet. I've already moistened the head with water. That's where I will attach the light purple fondant that I'm shaping right now. Has to be a really thin strip of fondant. I use the friller to thin it out even further. And then wrap this around the head. Just above the eyebrows and all the way to the back. There. Oops. Had to correct the nostril a bit. So now we are going to fold in and seal the light purple fondant into a hat. There, see? And then we'll brush that with water so it'll stick. And then remove the excess fondant. We'll just have to pinch it off. Kinda like pinching a dumpling closed, something like that. There. Oops, it's off frame. Sorry. There. So you have to make sure that you're still showing the eyebrows of the face. Then attach it with a little bit more of water. So we have the bonnet. That's just one part of the bonnet. We still have the flap, and then we'll make impressions to make it look like it's knitted. Using the fine veining tool, you score or you puncture a bit. Make small indentions to make it look like it's knitted. All the way around the bonnet. Almost done. There. Then for the flap, roll out a strip and then flatten it. There. It has to be thin, if not thinner than this one, so you can shape it around the head. Then attach it with a bit of water as well. All around the brim of the bonnet. Start at the back, attach it through the front, and then smoothen it to seal it together. And there. So to finish this bonnet look off, we'll have to make impressions again. Strips this time. Straight impressions only. You don't have to cut it. There. Then all the way around. All the way around. And we have a bonnet, so I'll make a small ball and then attach it on the tip. But first we have to create the socket. And then roll a ball, brush it with a bit of water, and then attach it. There. And that's the head. Now we are going to finish it with the hair. We can push it up a bit because somehow we covered the eyebrows, and I need the eyebrows to be seen. So now we are going to do the hair. Her front fringe and the back. We don't need to make too much, or we don't need to condition too much of the brown because she's wearing a bonnet, so it only needs to peek out of the bonnet. Using a scalpel, I just cut it. Without fully detaching it from the whole strip. Then attach this to the figure. Like that. So we'll have to dab a bit of water again. Not too much. And then brush the parts where we want to drape the hair. There. And now we can shape the hair around to frame the face. It's best for you to use a tool at this point because it's too fine for you to just use your fingertips to press it down and then to shape the piece to make it look like it's hair. And then you have to make room for the ears. Then press it in place. And now we do the other side. She's looking pretty. For this whole baby girl head, I think I used a total of 45 minutes to an hour just for the face. I have edited some parts wherein I had to recondition some fondant that I used for her, because as I went along with the video, some parts of the fondant that I used got stiff already. Usually when you do this, you can keep your colored fondant covered in a container or wrap it up in cling wrap. So to continue, we're going to put the other strip on the other side. So I'm picking out some part so I don't have to attach the whole thing all at the same time. And this time I made longer strips. And attaching it there all the way to the back. And that's the head as I attached it to the body. Thank you for watching.